Yuki and John's Patreon buffet.
Okay, welcome back to the buffet.
With the Cronenberg.
That's right, David Cronenberg, Yuki. This one is your suggestion, and I love it immediately because I think the movies of David Cronenberg are super interesting and sometimes really hard to watch, but they always are good. Even the ones that aren't perfect are still really entertaining and interesting.
And then remember the first one, Rabbit, like a zombie cheap Canadian movie.
So I think he made a movie before that. I remember Rabid. Rabid was with Marilyn Chambers.
Yes.
He made a movie before that called, and it had multiple titles called They Came From Within and Shivers. You ever see Shivers?
Oh, I never seen it.
Lynn Lowry's in it. She's a famous horror icon, and it's about a high-rise building, and there's like an outbreak of a sexually transmitted disease that turns people into sort of zombie crazy people.
Oh.
It's another psychosexual whatever, but it is a Canadian production, and I heard he got some money from the Canadian government to make it, which the Canadians are way ahead of us in terms of art because they give artists money to make movies. America doesn't do that.
That's right, huh?
America's taken away the music programs in schools and shit. They don't care about art. It's fucking stupid.
First thing they cut is art.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's move to Canada, Yuki. We'll make some Canadian horror and we'll do a reverse David Cronenberg or reverse Jim Carrey, and we'll actually go to Canada instead of, coming to America.
That's right. Yeah.
So Rabid, yeah, I really like Rabid, and it's he was ahead of his time in casting a famous porn star.
And then I think she did Behind the Green Door, right?
That's right. Did you see that in the theater?
Yes.
You saw Behind the Green Door in the theater?
Yeah.
I want you to describe every single moment of your experience. I mean, when you bought the ticket, when you walked it, what was it like? Because that was a phenomenon, right?
Well, somehow, nobody, it wasn't like a Deep Throat. It's more like an artistic film. Even the Spielberg said, Behind the Green Door, it's not just a porno movie. It was a movie.
Right.
And then, the movie has a scene that's supposed to, this is a sex movie. No, it wasn't like that. I mean, it has a story, philosophy. And then it wasn't cheap porno movie. It was like a real, serious movie. Just happened to have a sex scene. It's more like that way, yeah.
Yep.
It's rated, yeah. So
yeah, but you went. Did you? Was it a risque movie? Was there a lot of people in there, or was it an empty theater? Did you see with a crowd?
It was empty.
Oh, so you were alone.
Well, I wouldn't say alone, but few I can count. I think Deep Throat had more audience.
Really? You saw that too? You did?
Yeah.
Where did you see these movies?
There was a Pussycat Theater in Ali, and then they're showing. I think they're showing Deep Throat forever. Years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years they're showing in Hollywood Bluebird. So, when I came here, they said, "Oh my God!" So I was excited because you can see X-rated movie in Japan. So I just went to see it. $3.
Was it uncomfortable to order the ticket from the takeout woman?
No, I mean it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to see a porno. No, it wasn't. You just go there, one, it's just very casual. That's why I like about America. No big deal. You go see the regular movie. You go see a porno movie at the Pussycat Theater. So what?
Was there any ruffling of fabric, or did you hear any strange noises? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right?
Well, no, it wasn't. It was already slowing down. It wasn't the beginning. It wasn't like what's called those box. What's called
peep shows.
It wasn't like that. You put the quarter, like what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then, suddenly shutter close.
So were there people, you don't think there were people like couples would go and feel each other up, or?
Surprisingly, couple was there. I think a few couple was watching, yeah.
And did they turn around and look at you and say, "Who is this strange man? We should invite him over"?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yuki, what if somebody came and sat down next to you? What would you have done?
I don't know. That time I didn't even speak English, so maybe just smile and then pretend I don't understand the English. I mean, I didn't have to even pretend. I mean, I didn't understand the English, so.
So how were you understanding the movie? You was just all visual.
It's all visual. Come on, it's a porno movie, so you don't need a dialogue. Okay? She has the clitoris and the throat. So instead of lower, she used upper mouth.
Right, that's the concept of Deep Throat, is that she has the clit in the throat, and that's why she loves giving head so much.
So you don't need the dialogue, yeah.
They did have that famous scene where it's all it flashes to all the stuff while she's got like all the explosions of like oil coming out of the ground and stuff, right?
That was a great scene. I thought that was very clever. I think they handled it very well. It wasn't a gross, porno movie like others. It was very creative, tasteful, fun. More like a comedy, comedy movie has a sex scene, that's it.
Yeah. What about, there was another famous one, The Devil and Miss Jones. You see that one?
Oh, it was double feature.
With which one?
Deep Throat.
Oh, wow. So there was Deep Throat and The Devil and Miss Jones?
Yeah.
So you went to the theater and watched 4 hours of porno?
Yeah. It's not like I was young, but gee, I need to do this, so maybe I go movie theater. I see. No, it's not like that. Oh no, it's famous movie. So I just wanted to see it.
Amazing, Yuki. Well, all right, back to David Cronenberg. And Marilyn Chambers. So she's actually really good in Rabid.
Right. Yeah, that was good, right? And then it's a zombie. That was the beginning. And then what was it? There was another one, right? The Videodrome or
oh well, yeah, Videodrome is that's in the 80s. With
Cronenberg, right? Also,
that's Cronenberg. That's James Woods and Blondie, Debbie Harry. She's in
Michael Ironside.
And that's Videodrome. I think is super awesome. I'm really into that movie, and I've watched it 4 or 5 times now, and it just gets better with each viewing. And I think that the special effects in that movie, Rick Baker, or was it? Yeah, Rick Baker, I think, did the special effects in that movie. And that one part where he has the gun and then he puts it inside of his stomach.
Uh-huh.
Where basically the vagina is like in his stomach. That sequence is fucking awesome.
So it's not graphics, but it's not like a sexually It's more like a gross, creative way,
Right.
And then,
Did you ever see The Brood? That was one in the 70s that David Cronenberg did.
no, I never seen that. And then, is it the Scanner? That's Cronenberg?
Scanners is Cronenberg for sure. That one is in the 80s, and that one everybody says has like the best exploding head in cinema history.
Exploding Head. Yeah. I like that movie. Yeah, it's very interesting. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
that's Michael Ironside. I don't know if Michael Ironside is in Videodrome though. He might be. I can't recall.
I was confused the Scanner. So
Yeah, but yeah, no, Scanners is cool. I love that movie too, and they had 2 or 3 sequels of that. I've never seen them. Yeah, I wonder if they're good.
never seen the 2, 3, no. And then the Fly 1, 2, right?
Um, David Cronenberg only did the first Fly remake with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, and then some other director did the second Fly, which is okay. It's not as bad as people say.
I see.
But it's sad that they couldn't get back. What do you call it? I guess Gina Davis didn't return, and it's just the son of Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum. Eric Stoltz is the character, and they're like,
Who was Son of the Fly?
that's right, son of Fly. And it's better than people say for sure. I don't understand why people talk so much shit.
I thought the first one did too much gross. Like we don't see it, but when Jeff Goldblum when he eat, like spitting in the food, then just sword. Like, it's gross.
But
yeah.
that's beautiful because that's really what would happen because flies do that. They puke on their food to melt it down and then suck up the paste.
I know. Well, at least we don't see it, but still, it's gross, annoying. And then last week I just saw original one, and then it's much less. He gets, sucking the milk, but we don't see. He has a what's called a black, scarf or something in the head,
Right.
so we don't. And then no sound effect, so it's not like a.
I don't know, Yuki. I love the extreme measures that the fly goes to when it transports the baboon, and all of a sudden that creature is like in the other thing. That's such a cool effect.
I thought Jeff Goldblum is good. Like remember the one scene he goes, "Sick people can't do this." Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, or the little mannerisms that Jeff Goldblum throws in as he's becoming more fly-like, where he just twitches. He'll be like, out of nowhere, he'll just start twitching and stuff. I think that's really a great performance by him.
Great, but gross.
Great and gross. I always, when I was a kid too, so I was being babysat by my cousin and his friend. They were older. They were probably in their teens, and I was like 9. And my mother said, watch John, just watch a movie, and I'll be back in 2 or 3 hours. So they chose The Fly to watch. They had rented The Fly. So we watched The Fly, and the fucking part where she gives birth to the maggot, I freaked out. I was like, ah! I couldn't handle it.
No, they do that a lot. Like even the new Alien, they have a Alien baby coming out. But the Fly 2 was first, I think.
Yeah, The Fly was first with the baby maggot, and that was such a fucking crazy scene. And then I remember at the end when the dude who's like Gina Davis's boss, but also he wants to be with her, he goes to confront the Fly, and then his hand gets melted off by the fucking... That freaked me out.
I think like the process becoming a Fly, I think the remake is good, but when he became Fly, I think it's totally gross creature. I mean, then original fly was better. I mean, because creature looks like a fly.
Yeah.
The POV shot, when the wife or the girlfriend, like a multiple image. So that was more like a creative showing fly. But when the remake, when he becoming fly, I think that's too much, and then the creature doesn't even look like a fly.
Yeah, it does. It's like a half man, half fly.
I don't know. It's like, and then plus it's not even black.
Well, because it's a combination. It's a human hybrid of a fly and a. It's a new creature. It's not a fly. It's a man fly, a mly.
Uh, Remember that the original one? Help me!
Oh
Help!
yeah.
I thought that was a cool thing, but remake, they don't have that.
Right. I had known that scene when I was a little kid, the help me scene, because my mother, we saw it on TV once, and she's like, "Oh my God, remember this movie, The Fly?" Da, da. And so I always thought that was such a cool thing. Help me. And then I thought it was going to be in the remake, and it wasn't. But yeah, it didn't need it. It had its own flavor. The part also that I always got like a little weirded out by was when he was trying to prove to Gina Davis something, and he made a steak, and then he sends it through the transporter, and then she eats the steak, and it's gross tasting.
Right. But funny, she
Yeah,
spits
she's like,
out.
it's funny. It tastes funny. I always wondered what she meant by that. Synthetic. What about okay? Did you ever see any other David Cronenberg movies like later on? When he did say he did this really interesting movie about Carl Jung and Freud. And what's his name? Michael Fassbender plays Carl Jung, and Viggo Mortensen plays Freud.
I don't remember that.
Oh, it's good. It's really I forgot what it's called, like a dangerous obsession or something like that. And you know how Carl
Sometimes serious like drama movie, right? Not science fiction or
this one is totally not body horror. It's just a drama between the relationship of Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, and it goes into like a psychosexual sort of thing. There's the sexuality and stuff.
no,
What about Crash?
no. I didn't like that movie.
Well, with this,
Win Academy.
no, there's two crashes. So one crash is the one about racism, which is a horrible movie. It's like the worst Hollywood movie ever made.
That's the one won the Academy, right?
Yeah, that one won all the Academy Awards. It's such a fucking pandering, horrible movie. It's just horrible. The other crash, the David Cronenberg crash, stars James Spader, Holly Hunter, and it's about people who have a fetish of car crashes, and they get into car crashes and they fuck.
Is that the somebody got injured and using the crutch, couldn't walk?
Yes. And they love to crash into each other and then have sex, and then they have like a fetish of car crashing. It's really super weird and good.
Sick movie. No, I
Yeah.
remember.
There's another one he did more recent is Crimes of the Future. Did you see this one?
I don't know. I saw something last year when I was in Tokyo. Some kind of body operate. It's a weird
That's
thing.
the one where Viggo Mortensen is the artist and he does art with his body by doing surgery, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yes.
I thought that was really cool and interesting. That one blew me away because I wasn't expecting anything from it because I really didn't like the last movie. Not that I didn't like it, I thought it was fine, but Cosmopolis I thought was a disappointment. I thought that was going to be really good, and I was sort of like let down by that one and bored. But Crimes of the Future, he's like doing those crazy sequences with the surgery and shit.
Yeah. No, the history of violence is that his
History of Violence is him. Now that's another one that doesn't have science fiction slant, but it's very gritty and dirty and filthy. I love it. That movie I went to see in the movie theaters, and I really, really liked it. Ed Harris is a bastard in that movie.
Mm. I'm not saying the same, but he has a similar style like David Lynch, no?
I could see shades of David Lynch and David Cronenberg, but David Cronenberg has more of an agenda than David Lynch, I think, because David Lynch, I feel, lets the flow happen. If he's inspired or wants to improvise, he'll add that sort of stuff in. And but David Cronenberg, I feel, has a more of an exact thing that he plans. I mean, I feel like, okay, David Lynch plans his movies out to a T. I mean, sorry, David Cronenberg, I feel, plans his movies out to a T. Like he knows exactly what he's going to do beforehand. David Lynch goes in and dreams and improvises as he goes. That's what I would say the difference is.
I see.
At least that's what it seems like, because Cronenberg is more plot oriented. You need to get this thing to happen in order for this thing to happen in order for this. David Lynch is like, yeah, this happens, and then who cares? Another thing happens, and then another thing happens, and it doesn't all have to connect to each other.
Right, because lots of David Lynch movies, sometimes you don't even know what's going on, but that's not the case in David Cronenberg, because at least, you know the story, what's going on at least.
Yeah, he takes you across on a tight story usually. But wait, let's see. What's another? Oh, do you ever see Dead Ringers?
Oh my God, that's my favorite. I thought Jeremy Irons should have won the Academy in that movie. They didn't even nominate. So instead, following year, they gave it to him, Presumed Innocent. I think that's the bullshit. I think that the Ringers, he did the better performance.
100%. What a fucking performance by that guy in that movie to play two brothers who are totally different, totally, separate characters. It's what a fucking movie. And that movie is also not, it doesn't really go science fiction, but it goes pretty horrific.
That's based on true story, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And actually, Twin Doctor, it's a real story. I mean, maybe the story made up probably, but I mean, those twin doctor, did the bad things. That's a true path.
Whoa, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
What about I'm looking at all this stuff here now on his letterbox page. What about Eastern Promises? Did you see that one?
Eastern Promises, that's also same guy from the History of Violence, right? What's his name?
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is his name. I really liked that movie, Eastern Promises, and it has that like super long one-shot fight in the where he's naked the whole time.
Yeah, I think David Cronenberg is I wouldn't say better director, but at least his movie is more easier to understand than David Lynch. So
sometimes,
yeah, I mean it's easier to follow the story. So I mean I like David Lynch, but I also like David Cronenberg. Yeah,
I love David Cronenberg. What about Naked Lunch? What do you think about that one?
Oh my God, that was what's his name?
Weller. Well, the writer is William S. Burroughs.
Right, but Peter
Weller. Yeah.
And then guy, so that was crazy movie. Yeah, Naked Lunch. That was good.
Totally crazy. The cockroach puppet or whatever it is amazing.
I like Spider.
I was going to mention that Spider is another one that is like early 2000s, David Lynch. It's not too like, I mean, I'm sorry, I keep getting mixed up. David Cronenberg, it's not too sci-fi heavy. It's more about the guy that's having like mind issues.
like a psychological movie. Yeah,
Yeah, and the horrors represent the horrors of his mind, not necessarily in reality. And that stars what's his name? Fiennes, Ralph Fiennes.
that's right, right.
Yeah, that's a great one. Everything that he's done recently, I haven't seen Map to the Stars. Did you see that one?
Oh,
That's from 2014. It stars Julianne Moore, John Cusack, Robert Pattinson, Maya Wachowski.
it came open in U.S.
Yeah, supposedly it was out, and I just didn't even really hear much about it. It kind of came and went. I'm gonna go revisit that because, like I said, Cosmopolis. There was something about it that just sort of disappointed me. I like David Cronenberg when he's exciting. I don't care if it's a fast-paced story. I don't mind a slow burn, but something where it's just like you feel that the payoff isn't going to be worth it. Like with A Dangerous Method, which is the one where Freud and Jung. It's very slow, it's very drama based, but there you feel the tension that it's coming to a head. Something's going to happen, and you feel that he's bringing you to some sort of an interesting conclusion. Cosmopolis, I felt like was just there, you know. But wait, hold on. The Dead Zone.
Oh, Data Zone. Yeah, Martin Singh, right?
Martin Sheen. That's President Kennedy, you idiot. That's not President Kennedy. He played Kennedy once. That's from the Goonies. The Dead Zone. Christopher Walken, based on a story by Stephen King,
Right.
and I really like the Dead Zone, and I think it's one of the best Stephen King adaptations, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah, I love it. I love that when he touches Martin Sheen, he sees the future and he sees that, if he gets elected president, he's going to turn the fucking nuclear bombs on everybody.
early time, right? Like the beginning of his career, right?
Dead Zone was like 82, let's see, 83. So it's in sort of in the early stages of his career, before The Fly, after The Brood. Um, Now The Brood, I know you haven't seen it, but Yuki, there's some crazy shit in that movie that I really want you to watch this one. Because if you like Rabid and you like The Fly and you like all this other, this is like prime Cronenberg in terms of body horror and creepiness.
Oh,
Yeah, it's some good shit. I showed it to Liz Shack, and usually she doesn't really like extreme horror and stuff like that. But this one really won her over because it's just like it pays off this concept in such a fucking amazing way.
I have to see that.
Yeah, you got to watch that one, Yuki. Let's see what else we have here. There's this movie called Existence.
Oh, that was I seen it.
I really liked it. It's got that whole virtual reality kind of thing going on for it, where it's like a video game that is too real. You got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jude Law.
That's why Jennifer Jason Leigh her.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. What about David Cronenberg as an actor?
He act. I don't remember what was he in it.
All right, he was two movies I specifically remember he was in. One was Nightbreed. You ever see Nightbreed?
No, is it his movie? Somebody
No,
else?
so it was directed by Clive Barker.
Wow.
And it was Clive Barker's big movie after Hellraiser, right? And he did Nightbreed based on one of his stories. And David Cronenberg plays a villain. He plays like a doctor who's also a serial killer. And he's really good in it and really scary. And he doesn't direct. He just purely acts.
Yeah.
Another one. You may not remember this, but I think you've seen it. Jason X.
He was in it?
Yeah. He was in a small part where he plays a doctor or something, and he's just there to dump some exposition and get the fuck out. He's like says a few things and then he leaves, but he's in it.
See the movie, but I don't remember. I didn't care much about the Jason X.
You didn't like Jason X?
Jason goes to space. That's ridiculous.
Well, he's in it and he's pretty good in it. But especially Nightbreed. Nightbreed, I think Clive Barker, that was a stroke of genius to cast David Cronenberg as like a villain actor, this sort of villain character. Let's see. What else, Yuki? I think we talked about most of his major ones.
Yeah, now I think he's an underrated director, and then now his son direct the movie.
Yes. Possessor, right?
Yeah,
And there was another one that he just did with Mia Goth. That was pretty good. Shit, I forgot the title. But it's interesting. Brendan Cronenberg, he's doing movies, and they're sort of in the same vein as his father. That he's like taking his father's work and sort of building his own career based on that genre.
feels kind of similar taste, right?
Yeah, similar body horrors, oddities, creepiness. He hasn't branched out yet, but they're solid movies. And whenever I see that he's got something coming out, I'll watch it. There was that one antiviral I thought was really good. I think that was his early one, and that's got some cool imagery in it. Possessor had some creepy shit, and then the Mia Goth one was pretty good. I just can't recall the name of it, but it had some really creepy scenes and interesting things going on. Mia Goth gives a great performance. She's over the top and screaming, and it's good.
I see.
Yeah. But whatever David Cronenberg does next, I hope he does some crazy shit. I heard that he was like talking about possibly either doing a follow-up to The Fly or some sort of a new Fly movie. Yeah.
Fly 3?
Fly 3 or Return to the Fly or something and just ignore part 2 and just do his own version, you know? I think that's interesting when directors do a movie early in their career, and I don't know how many have done this. They do a movie early in their career, and then they basically remake it later on.
Right.
I know Michael Haneke, the guy who did Funny Games. He made Funny Games in his original language. I think it's Danish or something. And then he made an American version of it for shot remake, but he got like Naomi Watts in it and stuff. So I would think it would be interesting to have David Cronenberg do a new Fly movie that's sort of a reboot, but with his sensibilities now.
I mean, Hitchcock did that, like, The Man Who Knew Too Much.
That's another example. Yeah, The Man Who Knew Too Much is like he rebuilt off the Peter Lorre one. And in many ways, the second one's way better.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. I wonder what else Cronenberg is working on. He's always, and I wonder what his writing process is. Does he like find an article where it's like, here's this weird surgery thing, and then he's like, oh,
He's a movie, right?
yeah. He usually writes his own movies. Maybe sometimes he has like a co-writer, but yeah, he's always a writer on it.
Now, does he live in Canada or he lives in US?
That's a good question. I wonder. I mean, once a Canadian, always a Canadian. You got to go back, right? If we went, I would stay. Canada was nice.
But many people so many, like Kelly, William Shatner, Ivan Reitman,
Mike Myers.
many from Canada.
Any other thoughts on David Cronenberg?
I think he's underrated. He should win the Academy someday. I mean, I think
He should. I wonder if he was ever nominated. I'm sure for at least maybe a writing or something, right?
he may be nominated for Eastern Promise or History of Violence.
Right. Yeah, he's one of those guys. It's like he hasn't won an Academy Award, but just give him some sort of an honorary Academy. I mean, the guy's made so many movies. He's had hits. He's had a long career. He deserves some sort of a recognition. And, obviously the Oscars, they just sort of view horror as a bastardized genre. They hate horror.
Usually, horror movie doesn't win the Academy, so yeah.
Yeah, but they should rethink that because David Cronenberg's movies are more entertaining than, I don't even remember Green Book, right? like Green Book, and that starred Viggo Mortensen. But A History of Violence, I remember. Eastern Promises, I fucking remember. They stuck with me. Green Book went in and out of my brain in like 2 seconds. But meanwhile, that wins Best Picture. Is like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know. The Academy is, it's a hidden agenda. I mean, something behind the scene, the politics, racism, it's everything. So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with like, including everybody and stuff, but why shun horror? Horror is the most trustworthy genre ever. I mean, it's like even in the worst economic times, people still go to see horror movies. Horror is like a sure bet in a way.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, why ignore it? This is a huge piece of cinema history, horror movies.
Well, the Exorcist was nominated, but it didn't win.
Right. And then when Silence of the Lambs was nominated, it's like, oh, it's a psychological thriller. They wouldn't say that it was a horror movie. It's like, motherfucker, Silence of the Lambs is straight up a horror movie. You got a cannibal, you got a fucking guy killing women. It's a fucking horror.
Yeah, it won. Yeah, that's only one kind of horror movie or suspense.
Well, Get Out won for best screenplay.
Oh,
So, hey, look, that's a win for horror. That's good. But it's like few and far between. It just doesn't make sense.
yeah.
And do you remember, did you know, you must know this, that Mel Brooks produced The Fly?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but he didn't put his name on it because he didn't want people to think it was a comedy or anything, but his company produced it, and he was one of the executive producers.
And then he produced Elephant Man too.
Yeah, yeah. So he produced, he did some cool stuff with his company, and I think he's the one who handpicked both David Lynch and David Cronenberg for those films.
But you're right though, because 10 out of 10 people see his name, and then everybody thinks, oh, it's called.
Yeah, they'll think it's Spaceballs 2 or something, and all of a sudden they'll go to The Fly, and they'll be like, what the fuck is Jeff Goldblum puking and eating the puke, and what the fuck is this? Which is kind of funny if you really think about it.
Right.
All right, well, that's David Cronenberg, Yuki. Any thoughts on anything? Not just David Cronenberg, the world, anything that you have to say?
Never underestimate Canadian filmmaker, right? I mean,
That's true. There's been many great Canadian movies, just like Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
yeah. Is that the Canadian movie?
Yeah, that's Canadian production for show.
Oh,
A lot of Canadian, beautiful Canadian pictures. All right, Yuki. Well, we just want to thank all of our patrons, all of our subscribers, all of our listeners, all the beautiful people who love us, and all the beautiful people who don't love us too. We still love you here at the buffet. It's the love buffet, Yuki.
buffet.
And we also want to say Yuki Nakamura still has the models. He can make a model for you. He's yukinorinakamura at AOL.com. Hit him up and he'll give you the information. And, keep him in business because Yuki is in the business of models and he should be a model. Look at him. You're like a male model, Yuki. You should model for DKNY or something. Calvin Klein. They should put you in some underwears. Yeah. But anyway, so help us out with Yuki's model business. And, also send us any suggestions that you might have. This David Cronenberg was a Yuki suggestion. But if you guys have any suggestions, we'd more than happy to talk about it.
Talk about it. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we'll see you next time at the
Buffet.
David Cronenberg buffet. Maryland Chambers buffet. Yuki was in a Maryland Chamber buffet in the fucking theater, behind the brown door, Yuki.
Yuki and John's Patreon buffet.